But many teachers are told that it's case closed. Teaching grammar is useless, even harmful.
They are not completely happy that we teach grammar as a discrete subject. They feel it's sort of artificial to teach it outside the context of some text. I'm only concerned that we're talking just about usage and we never get to grammar. So you don't learn those terms that everybody who talks about grammar can use with ease. I want students to actually see the structure.
Here's the analogy I make, and I don't know how well it works anymore, so you have to think more like a 1965 car, opening up the hood and somebody telling you, oh, all you need to do is just fix that carburetor. Well, if I don't know the difference between my carburetor and my, this is how little I know. I don't even know anything. I don't know the parts of the engine any more than my students know the parts of speech. So I have students who can't even put a sentence together. I mean, literally, they don't see how sentences work. It's just like under the hood of the car, a bunch of wires and a bunch of tubes and parts. And as long as you kind of get them all together and you have a capital letter at the beginning and a period at the end, then it should work. They don't see how everything works together. So oftentimes students who have really clunky sentences or lots of mechanical errors and they can't fix it on their own, faculty refer them to this class. I also get students who are really good writers, who love the class because it gives them more tools for becoming even better. They love writing and they want to write even more elegant sentences. And so this gives them ways that they can experiment with sentence writing and be able to talk about it.
It is in a positive because it renames the subject claim.
They start seeing things that they hadn't been able to see before. I think having a certain confidence that they know how language fits together should mean that they have more confidence to speak as well as write. Several of them have moved on down to, they're tutors in the writing center now. They feel confident enough to do that. This is what's gratifying, is that in their course evaluations at the end of the term, they say, every student going to college should have to take this class. They don't even limit it to English majors. I feel like this guru almost, like I'm showing them the light.
In any given class, I have 28 students with 28 different backgrounds, 28 different skill levels, sometimes 15 different languages.
Let's do a clause. You got it, Stephanie. Good.
When you have that deep knowledge of sentence structure, you can decode just about anything. It's the best life tool you could have. It crosses disciplines, it crosses dialects, it crosses technologies. Let's make everybody appreciate it, respect it, and love it for what it is.
Students that understand grammar have this special insight into discourse in whatever form it takes.
My wife, for many years, used to teach at taught at the Graduate School of Education at Harvard. She was teaching reading specialists, and she told me that a lot of them didn't know what a relative clause was, didn't know how to read a dictionary, couldn't figure out the pronunciation guides, didn't understand what passive is, and so on. People should have a conception of what their language is like.
Basic familiarity with some of the terms is part of being literate, right? It's part of an education.
I think that it is good to have grammar instructions to provide writers, or everyone for that matter, with a vocabulary so that they can think more clearly about how they use language. For a writer to know what the tools are that he or she is using is as valuable as a gardener learning words for different parts of a plant and different gardening implements, or a photographer learning the different parts of a camera. It's extraordinarily valuable.
Yeah, you should have a kind of an appreciation and even love of your own language, which comes from knowing something about it.
The collapse of traditional grammar is one that's left its mark everywhere. It's not just the kids coming out of the schools. It's the grammar teachers themselves. It's the writers at the New Yorker and the New York Times. Look at all these complaints that people make about the overuse of the passive. About anywhere from 50 to 75% of the time, the construction that they're describing is not a passive at all. They're routinely misidentifying a construction that everybody would have known in 1925 coming out of a good school. It is a serious problem. Kids should learn to think about grammar in school, whether in terms of the traditional categories or the new categories, but it should be done.